Well, with all of this rain, not many of us will be working in our gardens today, except for the diehards. But for those who have planted their gardens already, this added moisture is a pretty good thing. Perry Stothart joins us now from Classic Landscapes in Ellerslie Gift and Garden with a look at some summer gardening ideas. Good morning, Perry. Welcome back to the program.
Good morning, Mike. Yeah, I'm lucky enough to be safe under cover here at the greenhouse as well this morning.
Yeah, but I'm sure a lot of the product that you have sold to people doing very, very well after a day like today. Let's talk about hanging baskets. We know how popular they are. We're going to talk about how to keep them looking really, really good. And I know you've got a whole bunch of tips for us. Let's start off with fertilizer and the need or not for fertilizer in your hanging baskets.
Yeah, well, generally speaking, when you get fertilizer early in the year, or hanging baskets, early in the year, they will be fertilized already from the garden center. When they're grown, they have fertilizer, slow-release fertilizer. So typically when you first bring them home, there isn't a need for fertilizer. But now that we get into the middle of the year, it is important that you add fertilizer again to sustain their growth. They're have heavy needs when we talk about growth, especially to make the beautiful flowers. It takes a lot of energy. And so it's important to add a fertilizer. Something like an all-purpose fertilizer that you'll see, even a lot of them will say something like this where they'll have, container food on them. Really simple. You can add, and again, it'll slowly release the nutrition that the plants need to, keep looking really good.
The plants are looking so pretty and beautiful and vibrant when you get them. Then a few weeks down the road, the flowers start to die. And so what are you supposed to pinch them and pull them off and prune them? Or what's the proper way to handle them at that point?
Yeah, you will have the best looking plants if you, what we call deadheading, which like you said, you can just pinch them off with your fingers, or if you have a small pruning shear or scissors even, you can actually clip them. You want to just clip them just behind the flower head. It'll actually encourage more growth, more branching. They'll look more dense. Sometimes they can start to look a little bit leggy. And again, if you leave the flowers, it's not going to adversely affect the overall health of the plant too much, other than it's just not going to look great. And you obviously want it looking great. That's the one thing about hanging baskets, especially. It can bring some instant impact into the yard. So maybe you haven't planted flowers yet this year. You're a little bit late behind the 8 ball. You can actually just bring some hanging baskets in or rejuvenate the ones you've got. And again, they'll be looking great for, the rest of the summer.
Yeah, the thing about hanging baskets, Perry, is depending upon how big they are and the type of sun exposure they have, they can dry out pretty quickly. So I'm assuming regular watering is just so important.
Yeah, well, hanging baskets are super easy to take care of. That is one of the things that you have to, watch, because they have, big plants, just a little bit of soil in that hanging basket. They can dry out. We get winds. Obviously, days like today are going to help your watering schedule. You won't have to worry about it too much today. But the bottom line is, because of the wind, because of the small amount of a soil, a lot of times they're sort of a heavily peat-based soil, which can dry out a little quicker as well. So daily watering when it's hot and warm outside is pretty important. Every couple of days otherwise. I mean, it's one of the things that you're going to see immediately if you don't stay on top of the watering. So again, while it's simple, it's something that's really important.
And of course, something else to consider when you go away on holidays, obviously the easiest thing to do would be just ask a neighbor to help water your plants. But if that isn't the case, I know there are other solutions.
Yeah, well, I think you should have friends. That is the best solution that you said, and neighbors especially can be helpful. But sometimes what you can do is, one trick is you can actually cut the end off a plastic pop bottle, and you can fill it up with water and stick it into the soil. Stick it into the soil first, of course. Fill it up with water, and that will slowly wick away into the soil as the soil dries out. So you can use sort of a gravity feed kind of method. That's a way they can maybe buy you a couple of days if you're just going away for a short trip. But again, if you know the weather's going to be nice, and because it's hot and sunny, you're going to go hit the lake for the weekend, it is important that you do that, or at least have somebody checking in on it for you. And again, just a little bit of water goes a long way. As
a final question, Perry, as we wrap things up, is there anything I missed when it comes to taking care of your hanging plants?
No, that's really the most important thing. And like I said, they are one of the easiest things. And I know a lot of times maybe life gets in the way and we didn't get a start on our annuals or our flower bed planting. Maybe we've got a big event coming up. We're going to have some people back in the yard for a barbecue or something. It really is a quick and simple way to add impact, like I said. I mean, you can see what's behind me. It doesn't take much. You can just carry it home. And if you have maybe a balcony or a smaller area, they look great in containers or on decks as well. And so it's just a super cool way to add, again, impact to your yard.
Thank you, as always, Perry. Much appreciated. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Take care.
For more great ideas on how you can take care of your plants and gardens, you can check out Classic Landscaping and Ellerslie Gift and Garden. They're at 100th Street and 6th Avenue. For more information, got a website and a phone number up on your screen.